I'm so honored to be here with you all to celebrate one of my favorite artists, Gigi Perez. Let's give Gigi a big round of applause. Come sit.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm so good. How are you doing? We're here.
I'm amazing.
I have flashcards.
Oh, cool.
This is my first time moderating, you guys, so bear with me. I have notes. I'm so honored to be here with you and to celebrate your incredible debut album. I discovered Gigi, one of my favorite songs, Please Don't Kill Me, Kill For You.
Yes.
Her 2023 EP. I was like, what is this song? Who is this person? And I took Becca and we went to see her perform at the Moroccan Lounge over a year ago, I would say, is the first time we met. And then I became obsessed. And now we have this amazing debut album, At the Beach in Every Life.
Thank you. You know, it's crazy. That time was super crazy because I'll never forget where I was when I saw that you followed me on Instagram. And this is like pre-Sailor song. And I sent you a message and I was like, hello. Hayley, and we'll get into it, but Hayley has made a huge impact in my life, especially in my teenage years. I'm 25 now. So I think I found you probably about a decade ago when I was 15. And it was the end of Pride Month, and that's like when you hit me with that follow, and I was like,
Happy Pride.
Yeah, I was like happy. I literally remember telling people, I'm like, something good is happening in the air. Yeah. So Hayley, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here to celebrate you. I mean, you're nominated for 3 VMAs, by the way. So if you haven't voted for Gigi yet, please do. We would love a moon person for her. But I'm going to just dive right into it because I know we're all just dying to ask you so many questions. I literally listened to the whole album in chronological order and sobbed for probably 75% of it. I was so, and I'll probably cry today too, but I was so, it's so rare to have an artist release a, full-length album that really feels just authentic and scary in the sense of just so vulnerable. And it really, really speaks, like when you listen to the album, you're like, oh, this is someone, and she's going to be around for a very, very long time. And so I'm so excited to ask you questions and to learn more. One of my favorites, I love all the songs. I love Sleepless, but one of my standouts is Sugar Water, obviously, and it features your sister, your younger sister.
Yes.
And I heard that you recorded it 2 days before. Is that something like that? And can you tell us about the process of writing and why you included it on the album last minute, all the things?
So yeah, Sugar Water, I had already recorded the album, and it was 2 days before I was about to turn it in. It sounds like a project you're turning in an assignment. No, no, I was done with my album, and I got a text, and my friend was like, "Are you gonna put Sugar Water on the album?" And at the time, it was only an idea, and so there were so many verses and so many stanzas of writing, and I'd gone back to it multiple times, but I hadn't been able to crack that song yet. And so I was like, it wasn't the time. But he put it back on my radar, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done. I'm just going to go for it now. And it ended up just falling together in a day in the terms of the structure of the songwriting. And so from there, I went in and recorded it. And Bella happened to be in the room next to me. We live right next to each other in our parents' house. She just so happened to be there playing Fortnite. And she heard the song, and she's like, I really, really love this. And I was like, I know when she really likes something because she'll start singing and humming it. And so I saw her doing that throughout the day. And so I asked her if she wanted to record on it and do the vocals. A lot of it is the whole song is really about my childhood and the sisterhood between my sister Isabella and my older sister Celine, who passed away. And so a lot of it was about our upbringing and our experiences and our traumas. So I asked her to be a part of it, and she said, "Okay, later, I'm going to the gym." So she goes to the gym, and I beg her. But she comes over to my room, and she sings over it, and she starts making her own melody at a part I hadn't recorded yet. And the whole line was like, "I want it back, I want it back, I want it back." It was gorgeous. So I asked her to record that. And we did it so many times. We had so many takes from it because we kept messing up. And either I messed up or she messed up. And so at the end of it, we probably had about 15 takes. And so I was isolating everything in the tracks, like trying to find those sweet moments. And then I was like, let me just see something. And I played all of them, and I panned them left and right, because some I had recorded on my phone in the same moment. Other things I recorded on an actual microphone in the room. So I had multiple different things happening. And so I panned them a bunch of different ways, and then it created this giant wall of us as sisters. And we heard it, and we're like, yeah, this is absolutely one of the most special songs. And it's all the more special because Bella was a part of it.
I love that. I know if you haven't heard the song, you need to listen to it, because it's that moment in the song is so overwhelming, and you feel that wall of just like expression and creativity in that moment. So that's so cool to see how you discovered that. Sailor Song, okay, has marked, has been on Billboard Hot 100. It's been your debut. It's charted for 39 weeks. I know, fun fact. And it's also earning a spot in Spotify's coveted Billions Club. I don't know if you guys know how much a billion is, but that's a lot of zeros. And a lot of people, or maybe just me in my room listening to it over and over again. Something like that. But it's connected with so many people to the point that you also released the original version. What was the process of writing that incredible song?
At the time when I wrote Sailor Song, I think I'd been independent as an artist coming out of my first record deal, probably for about 8 months. And it was the third song that I had written and released that I was planning to put out that was part of the learning how to record and produce my own music. And that thing of learning how to record and produce really, it allowed something that had felt stuck for a very long time in terms of my grief and my traumas to move again. How we store our traumas and that kind of stuff in our body. And I feel like through learning how to record and produce, it was that moving out of my body and being able to express it in a way that made sense to me for the first time. For me, it just felt so different when I was talking about certain topics than just having, really incredible collaborators. But when that is the only way. And so I think for me, collaboration became something so much more special now, because I do it with the intention of, Aiden, who's going to be here tonight, that's worked on the album with me. It's so intentional, because I'm like, Aiden, I know you'd be perfect for this. Can you, what are you thinking for this? Versus I can't do it on my own. And so it helped that move out of me, which I really needed, because I was really struggling with my worldview at the time. I grew up in a very Christian, evangelical kind of background. And I think that, going from a teenager that really fervently believed and had this very strong faith to, where that intersects with, knowing that I feel different, and that I have this very strong love for girls, but at the time you don't know that, and you don't really know what that means, and so there's a lot of fear there. And ultimately, that wasn't really even the thing that had me really deconstructing. It was more so, it was after the death of my oldest sister, and it took years and years for all of it to kind of catch up to me, if that made sense. And from day one, I had been in therapy, because I remember this this pastor came into my house. I think it was like probably the day after Celine had passed away, and he said something to me, and I knew I would never forget it, and I still think of it often, because it's such a vivid time in my life. But he'd said that how you deal with your grief and how you deal with this is going to affect the rest of your life. And so you need to deal with it, because it's going to affect your life, your career, your future marriage, your kids. Just, and like my sister just passed away. This is the last thing I wanted to hear. I wanted to punch this guy in the face. Like, why are you in my house? But it's true, because I live that every day, and I see the way the wake of her passing has affected me every day. But Sailor Song was the expression of that. And it was in an interesting spot, because also I was experiencing this really beautiful love in my life. And so it was just so weird how many multitudes of things that were kind of going on inside of me, because I was like, okay, one, I'm learning how to record and produce, and this is making me feel really free, and it's like an outlet of that. But I'm still going to bed at night until 4 a.m. Sometimes I would get stuck in these spirals where I would, look to people who had deconstructed Christianity, and, looking in the Bible, and in looking at people of all different walks and religions, and asking, like, what is going on? But in the center of that was this beautiful love that was like kind of the calm from all of that chaos. And I never been one to escape into other people, but it was more so of like an anchor in an otherwise very, very rough period of my life that allowed me to see the reflection and the beauty of something good. Even though I was, I think my grief really started to unravel in ways that no longer even had to do with my sister, but had to do with myself. And honestly, in a lot of ways, that's been one of the hardest parts about it.
Yeah, and I think what's so beautiful about music is like, coming to concerts and being able to express yourself. Like, everyone in the room is like moving that energy, whatever that energy they're going through, whether it's grief or heartbreak or love. It's like every time you sing that song, people are screaming at you, and they're moving that energy. I love that
Totally.
visual. It's just like, whatever you're
Needs
going
to go
through,
somewhere.
right? And you're all just screaming at
Yeah.
each other, and you're gonna get through it together. And like that's the power of music. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. So you and I were talking yesterday, and you had asked me this question. So now I'm going to ask you the same question. If this was like casual conversation, Gigi just like asked me this, and I was like, what? If your 16-year-old self could see you now, what would she say?
Oof. Oh my God.
A flip.
I know.
On an OG question Gigi just threw at me mid-convo, and now I'm throwing it back to you.
I didn't suspect somehow. I should have suspected.
You should have known this was coming, because this is a difficult question.
I mean, I think that 16-year-old me was so... It's a similar kind of thing that turned back around in the last few years of my life. But I felt so restricted, and I think just generally, like teenagers in general, like it's the first time you're experiencing being here, so things feel very intense. And I think when you add the layer of sexuality and that deathly terrified feeling of not knowing who you are, you know, but you don't want to admit it. The fear that comes with, and also just not having the education around it. Like, I didn't grow up with really any sort of resources, and we have ways and ways to go in terms of that for today's youth. But it's definitely a very different world than even when you were starting out in music, like it was really like you were it for me. Like that was something that really, really saved my life. Girls Like Girls and that EP just like really held me together. And I was thinking about it the other day, just the feeling of like being in high school and having my earphones in, the wired ones. There was no AirPods. And walking through the hallways, and it was like the secret was shared between you and me. You didn't know I existed, but I knew you existed.
Not yet.
Not yet. But it was like the secret that I had a place to put it. Like I was like validated, and so everything else around me was noise. And then there was you, and there was those songs, and it was the music. And around that time is when I had started learning how to play guitar. It first started with the ukulele heavy era, all the Tumblr ukulele songs. And then it turned into my friend brought in a guitar one day, and I was like, "Can I see that?" And he was like, and he saw that I really, really liked it, and he was like, "You can take it home." And so he let me take it home for a week, and then I begged my parents to buy me a guitar, and so we went to Guitar Center. I bought my first guitar, and this time I was sneaking out of class sometimes to find the piano at the school to play, and it was this vicious kind of cycle of, for the first time, that very intense thing that didn't have anywhere to go was moving, and I became addicted to it. And I have been ever since. And so I think if I could tell my 16-year-old self, like, I don't know, right now I'm having a vision of being in the high school gym. It was like there was a high school gym on this side, and then there was the stage. And the curtain was closed. And I'm remembering when I was learning Marina and the Diamonds, at the time, Marina and the Diamonds, Prima Donna Girl. And I remember learning that on the piano, and like I have videos of it somewhere. But all these, it's like such a simple thing to play like 3 notes that make a chord on the piano, and like that kind of like stunning feeling. And so I think back to that, and I think she'd be so. I think there'd be a lot of different things, because I don't think that she could have ever imagined a world without her sister so young. But I think that she'd be so proud of the fact that she's been able to continue on and continue not only through music but as a person. And I know that I became someone that she needed, and that reconciles something in me when I get to meet the younger ones out there that are having similar experiences. There's like this, I don't know, this feeling like like a full circle kind of, I want to take care of you, so.
Just got a little teary-eyed. I'm your biggest fan. She'd be so proud of you. You kind of answered most of my questions on this.
I'm a talker.
No,
I just gotta say, I'm sorry.
You're doing all the work
Give me
for
a microphone. No.
But I did say I did have here growing up. Who were some of the artists that inspired you? Which
you.
Thanks for the shout out. Thanks.
Yeah. You. I mean, you really did, and I think I really. It's so funny, but I found the Killers around the same time too, and so I really, really like fixated so hard on the Killers, and I still do. Like I'm their biggest fan. The music just, it was one of those things, like all the car rides, anytime I could be in a vehicle, they were on, and I was listening to The Neighborhood's Wiped Out a lot. That was also an album that really, really impacted me. Grew up on Lana. There's so many, I was a huge Ariana Grande fan, and I still am. I loved her music so much. Like, I loved her. And yeah, I mean, I'm really blessed. Like, we've had such amazing music. I grew up on music that I adore the exact same way, and I play all these artists like their music came out yesterday.
It's so cool to hear your inspiration because I hear some like the neighborhood. Like there's a little bit of just
Cool.
little
Yeah, and
twinklies.
Marina. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Bella.
Oh my, I love
Bella
Marina.
too.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Is she here? No.
I got to see Marina at uh Oshiaga. And it was so it changed my life. Like something happened. Yeah.
We love you. So I don't know if some of you may or may not know this, but in this massive industry of music, only around 4% of producers are women, which is crazy. And you have self-produced all your music to date. And so this is a personal question of mine, but what is the weirdest or most out-of-the-box sound that you've sampled? Because like I have a song called Gravel to Tempo, and literally I sampled gravel and me walking to tempo, and that's why I called it very creative, and I called it Gravel to Tempo. And then I wrote the song on the gravel. So is there anything
That's really cool.
in your debut album or something that you've sampled or...
I'm trying to think. Aiden, are you here somewhere?
If you don't have an answer, then I've just exposed myself.
No, I definitely do. I'm trying to like, I see all the files in my mind
so much
popping
like
up.
soundscape though in your album and just like
I used a lot of in the album. I use Ableton and I use a lot of stock sounds because I remember watching a video a while ago of Phineas, and this is when I started learning how to record and produce. So I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and all over Reddit and everywhere, just like asking all the questions, just talking to my friends. And I saw this video of Phineas, and he was saying, if you're starting to produce, don't worry about buying all the plugins and all the stuff. Because I actually remember texting my friend when I first got into the idea of really taking recording and producing seriously, of all the physical hardware. So I was like, I need to buy all these like giant stacks. Like if you go into studios, there's just like a bunch of compressors and all that. Yeah, it looks really cool. And so, but I saw that thing that Phineas had said. I was like, okay, let me just check out Ableton. And honestly, I just found so many sounds from Ableton stock. And it slowly, started changing and evolving and getting little things to kind of to ferment the sounds. But there's that for that. And, Sailor, for example, that is a sample splice. Yes, it is. I mean, it was something where like sometimes I just like get on and I play the full song as it was, and then I just press something like right at the beginning of the next phrase, and it was like this beautiful trumpet. And so I took that, messed with it, and it became that amazing trumpet that really like felt like taking flight. So I don't think I have anything like cool like gravel
that was really
or like
cool.
hitting things.
That was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm like,
thank you for thinking it's cool.
Now I'm gonna be like the trumpet from Splice. Like while I'm listening to this,
I know.
like,
Just
this is the
Splice
information
sample.
we want, Gigi.
Well, I think it's also like I think making music can be more accessible than people think it is, and I think that's very important for other people who want to create to know. You don't need to have a whole, physical like it. There's so many different kinds of ways to make music, and so I feel very passionately about that, and it allows for more musicians and creatives.
I love that. I love the single and album drawings. So we need to quickly talk about that. Are you the mastermind behind all of these, and what influenced you to make these like a part of your brand? Because they are a part of you just as much as you are a part of them.
Thank you. I'm actually wearing the girl on necklace today.
Oh my gosh, cute.
My cousin made this. They're jewelers.
Maybe a merch item down the line.
I've been told that. Like it could be a thing.
It's a good thing. It's a cool visual aesthetic. So tell me a little bit about like you drew it and then you were like, this is it. Like,
yeah. So at the time I had just I remember the first time that I drew the girl. And and it was like around the same time where I'd just been released from my first record deal, and I on that day I wrote "At the Beach in Every Life," and when I was exporting the voice memo to upload it to a private SoundCloud link to send to my friends, I needed something, and I started doodling because I feel like they're doodles. Like I guess drawings, but they feel more like doodles. I started doodling as a way to cope after my sister passed away. And so I opened this Instagram account called Doodles by Gigi. And there was a certain time, there was a while that I was drawing a lot, and it made me really happy. And I didn't really care what it looked like. I just liked doing it. My sisters always told me growing up, because they're like real artists. Like they could draw like the eyes and the eyelashes and stuff, and like draw like the beautiful realistic faces. Like I can't do that, but I think it's very cool. So I kept drawing, and then I stopped for a second. And around the time I got back into it, and I was drawing a lot, then I came across the girl, and the girl evolved a little bit. It was kind of like wonky, and then one day I drew the actual girl that's this, and that's on all of the covers. And when it came to Please Be Rude, I had made a companion for the girl, so there were two girls, like Adam and Eve, you know. So that was really the beginning of it. And then, you know, as I continued to put out music, I was like, oh my God, it's so fun to like finish a song and then be like, okay, so what's the story behind this? Because honestly, I didn't really feel connected to any other kind of medium besides drawings. You know, I had my first album cover, which was like a really slay picture of me like looking off to the side.
You look really good.
Thank you. I really love it. Like it's a beautiful album cover, and it was our EP cover. It was shot by Deanie Chen, and I love Deanie so much. So that was a really awesome experience. But there was something about that. Like I grew up just like loving alt music, and like it just felt more like, you know, to like draw something. And so I kept going. And also like I moved back home with my parents. You know, it was kind of like a deal. Like, hey, girl, just focus on your writing and recording. Figure it out. But with that being said, I didn't have money, so it was like I'm just going this way. It felt so natural, and it continued to build. And so when Sailor Song happened, I was like, okay, I want to do the waves in a boat and like put them on a boat. And then Bella was like, you should put tentacles. She's like, girl, give me the iPad. She takes the iPad. She makes these beautiful tentacles. And so ever since then, Bella joined a part of the process. Like I always like used her as my teacher to grade me. She's like, no, fix that, do that.
Where am I at? Where am I at?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, you know, it's been a very collaborative process since then of Bella and I working together on all of the art, really. She really, really does a beautiful job and really elevates, and she just has a brilliant mind. So it really helps me. You know, like when they say, like, can you visualize an apple in your head to like how... Do you know what I'm talking about?
Should I be visualizing an apple?
There's like this thing. Has anyone heard about it? It's like visualizing an apple in your head is how vivid your imagination is.
Oh,
but like
no.
I can't see the apple. Like there's no apple at all.
I'm like, am I good?
I don't think maybe this could be the place for you to see the apple.
Is it supposed to be a red apple? Fuji?
No, you get to choose. You build the apple, and it's like, okay, is the apple shiny? Is it on a table?
I see a Fuji with a sticker.
What if you could see it? That's probably good. What I'm saying is that I can barely see.
I'm panicked.
Honestly,
I'm stressed.
The question to me became super existential, and I've always dropped it since. But anyway,
I'm forever changed, just so you know, for many reasons.
Good. But anyway, that's that. And so I can't see the apple, but I can see the girls, and that's all I need.
And I'm forever seeing apples.
Yes.
Nice. So I'm like, is this a magic show? I'm like, what?
Yes.
Where am I?
I'm about to bring out my special hat. Yes.
No, thank you for sharing. It's one thing to write music. It's another thing to have a visual aesthetic that matches your soul. And I've struggled with that so much. And so I just love that you've found your voice through your artwork. Like, because that's financially very smart. And
thank you.
Visually very impactful.
Thank you.
That means a lot. Like hard to crack.
That means a lot. I mean, honestly, I felt the exact same way. I feel like for since I started writing when I was 15, because I had put things out on SoundCloud, and there was always like the cover, like what's that going to be? Like
who am I? What do I look like?
Exactly, literally, what do I look like? I don't want to know. You know what I mean? Like, so it's this kind of stress, and then it is, but then the girls, they literally came into my life, and I never imagined. And then I go to shows, and I'll see people wearing them, or when they have their own attachment to it, and it's one of those things that I really can't believe that it was just putting one foot in front of the other. I did not that it was easy at all, like in all the circumstances that lead up to that, but it's kind of one of the things that you're building a quilt and not knowing what you're building yet. And so I think that's what a lot of that free fall year coming off of my first record deal was just like, I didn't have any sort of idea that this would be these words like brands or any of that kind of stuff. It was really just like, I'm having fun in my room, and me and my friend I found a friend online, and we made a Sims 2 emo love story together. Like that music video is like, I didn't know that those things were like building, towards anything. I was releasing the pressure that it needed to be anything, because I didn't know. Because like that's something that I wasn't gonna like let stop me, because ultimately the reason why I was doing it is because of the songs. Everything else is really special and glitter.
Yeah, and I think it's just a great reminder of like everyone in their journeys and following their dreams. It's like you just have to be yourself, and it's like a very simple thing, but it's like you're just putting one foot in front of the other, and hopefully it's building this like beautiful thing. And if it's not, it's a beautiful thing for yourself, and it just and again, that's why it's connecting with people, because it's just very authentically you. And that's for me and for everyone's journey as just a human being. It's like when you're your most authentic self, it's the most powerful thing you can do. So you've been touring since March. March of this year. That's a lot. Touring is like so amazing and so very intense. How has it been on tour, and have there been any surprises playing this album live for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. I think that I've always loved playing live. Me and you bonded over the theater. We did the theater. We did musical theater in high school.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Yeah, we're musical theater nerds. And so I always loved being on stage. And even in the beginning of the solo career, and doing a tour, my first tour in 2022 with Noah Cyrus, like those were really big steps to take, going from musical theater to like actually like you're really doing the thing and playing your songs with a band and putting all that together. The live experience has evolved so much over the past 5 years in terms of me as a performer, and imagining the songs that I write into the live. And this year has been just like this astronomical level of growth that I get so excited to think about, because when you do something every single day or almost every single day, and you do it to the best of your ability, it only continues to elevate. The nerves or the anxieties or the unfamiliarity goes away, that allows it to become a really, really creative thing. And I think that a lot to my drummer and my creative director, JJ, just for like his amazing mind and the way that he thinks, and it takes these shows, these songs that I've made, and imagines these shows. Like I remember the first time we played Please Be Rude, and in Please Be Rude, there's no on the recorded song, there's no drums. Most of my album is really percussive through the guitars, and there's a lot of guitars, and so there's a lot of movement that is almost, it replaces drums. But playing drums live for a song like Please Be Rude, like that kit really took the experience to a whole nother level of like feeling and fervor, and like this alive feeling. And that's why I always start my show with it is because it just like sets me right into place. It locks me right into place, and it does that for all of us. And so, the whole experience, it's really continued to develop, and then as things change and scale, I feel really prepared for any sort of circumstance when it comes to when you have that time, you know what I mean, and you get like just so comfortable with it that it's like even if things go wrong, like it doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if the electricity goes out, you're still playing.
That happened. Well, that happened to me. I was supporting Girl in Red last year, and I love her so much. She's the best. We were in Austin, Texas, and I was super excited for the show because I love Austin. And I don't know, somebody had like pulled an alarm or something, and all of the whole entire sound goes out. I hear the first parts of the song, but I'm hearing it through the house and not in my ears. And I'm like, wait, this is so weird. I turn around, I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, like very quickly kind of pivoted. There was no sound. My entire support slot just like did not happen with sound. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit on the side of the stage, and thank God it was a theater, and I just yelled my face off and sang. And it was like a very beautiful moment that I have a very specific memory to. So, I mean, we don't need sound, like, you know what I mean?
And those are the memories that fans remember the most.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, despite it. So, come what may.
I love that. You're ready for anything. I love it. I'm a food person, and I just have a very personal question for you.
Go for it.
So, like, when you perform at shows, you have like a writer, and on the writer, you get to like ask for like 7 items or whatever it is. What is your one thing you must have? Like when you're on tour, what is the one item that like needs to be in the snack or like the go-to thing?
A lot of people might think this is weird, but it's a limoncello LaCroix.
This is why I asked this question. That is so not what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Limoncello.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, first of all, I've never liked fizzy drinks growing up or any sort of sparkling stuff. But I had it one day last year, and it there's this episode from SpongeBob where like Sandy wakes up from hibernation, and she's like, and her eyes like bulge open. Like, I like had this like insane moment of clarity. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sober all around. You know what I mean? So it's like that is like something that like
high.
Yes, it is. Like, I don't know what it is. And it's kind of weird, but it tastes like, I know it's limoncello, but I can make it taste like cake batter ice cream.
I weirdly pick up on those notes.
It tastes like cake batter ice cream.
Yeah.
So
it does.
I need to have my cake batter before.
Okay, limoncello, LaCroix.
Not too close
LaCroix
to the show,
or
because you don't need burping. But
do you say LaCroix or LaCroix?
Which
LaCroix.
way do you say it?
I don't know.
Which way is like the right, true?
I don't know. Is it LaCroix?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, thanks for answering that question. I was like really excited about that one. So you and I have spoken about representation and how much it means to both of us. And now you're creating such a massive impact. And so how does it feel to now be a part of probably so many of people's journeys?
I mean, yeah, it's like, it is very surreal to me because I remember, I feel like I just lived so much of my childhood in my head. I lived, like, I feel so visceral looking back on everything. And I think that there was just a lot going on. And it wasn't until I started writing that there was this thing that washed over me, this piece that washed over me. And I remember when Sailor Song came out, I started to see all these different ways communities were latching onto the song and what it meant to them, because I'm a part of, like, I'm a listener and a fan of music before I am a writer, a creator. And so seeing what was happening within these niches and this culture was so surprising to me, and it had a lot to do with the younger generation and the younger LGBTQ. And that was something that really took me for surprise. And I think at a certain point in my journey of becoming myself, there was this time where I kind of ran kind of in the opposite direction. Like, okay, I got my grips in the world, like had my first experiences with a girl. I've been in love with a girl. Like, I have this down, like, and so I kind of like didn't live in like the essence of where I'd come from, if that makes sense. Like, you just go on. And Sailor and the music and this album really like pulled me back in to recognize not only myself and I'm sitting with the same. I know it sounds redundant, but it's very strange sometimes, and I have to remind myself that I'm sitting in the same body that was 10 years ago. Like, it's exactly still me. And so that version still exists, that like prayed to God at night to take it away, or like didn't imagine, and you and I were talking about it yesterday, like literally did not imagine a world where I could be myself. It just seemed so far away, like changing pronouns and songs to say he instead of, in the first recording, the first song I ever recorded, it said, I'm in love with the boy in the driver's seat of this car. But I wasn't in love with the boy, I was in love with a girl. And that was those little things, as I got older, I think in some way I took for granted, which has now come back around full circle. And every day I just live in this awe and this gratitude of being able to serve others, and be able to help in the same way that I needed. Because it's just like, it's really crazy. And I'm just like taking that in and processing that I get to represent my story. And that's very beautiful, because I'm also representing a lot of things that I thought, when I was 20 and my sister passed away, there was no grief music that I had. Like, there were like 80s ballads that I found, but it didn't really like hit in the way of these specific circumstances and the darker sides of this. And I was just like, I miss this person. It's like, what is that like guttural, like sinking deep pit that nobody wants to look at, that I don't want to look at, but I live and I rot in it. It's the feeling of like rotting. And I think like it's so like, I don't even know what to say, but this is coming to my mind right now. My one of my best friends, I was a bridesmaid last year for her at her wedding. Her brother passed away this week, and we've been talking nonstop back and forth. She's one of my best friends, and I never want anyone to experience that kind of loss. We are now linked in a way we were not linked before, in a way that I wish we weren't, but we are. And she's been texting me, and she's been telling me, she's like, I've just been listening to At the Beach on repeat. It's just like her mother is like, I don't even know what to say. Like, there's so much that I couldn't fathom or imagine, like being here. Like, it is such an honor to be here tonight. And I think back to that 20-year-old who couldn't even utter a concept or a thought, or you're just still going through the shock of it, thinking that there was no way I was gonna put out music, or that there was anybody that understood me, or just the cloud of doubt. Because if something as bad as that can happen, and there's as much bad in the world that can happen, then what is the point of anything? And what is the point of trying? And all these dreams to serve others and to impact and to share. Like, it was just like that breaking moment. Like, my family was broken. Like, I watched my parents give and give and give and give to others and to community service and to the church for 15 years. And then you really, you wake up one day and you just don't recognize the world that you live in. And knowing that there's people who listen to the music that absolutely need that. And I don't say that with any sort of, I say that with like with a reverence, and not like people need it in a, you know what I mean? But it's like, I needed it. And I didn't think at 20 years old that I would create or express the things that I've been able to. And I think even still, it's the tip of the iceberg of the feeling, but it's really close, especially when you get together with community. And so I think being able to represent that and represent my sister, it's just like a feeling of like, despite the grief and despite the pain, that you are still capable of leading a beautiful life, and that it doesn't end there. There are things that do end there, but life does continue, and this is my version of it.
And we're so grateful for you. Like, thank you so much for not giving up on yourself and not giving up on your voice, and being able to just work through it and getting to share and move that energy with us. And I think every single person in this room has been impacted by you in some way, shape, or form, or will be. And so I think we're all so honored to get to support you during this, like, it's got to be such weird emotions, because it was such like the worst thing that you've been through and will ever go through, and yet it's bringing you community. And like you said, sometimes there's no words. Sometimes you just want to sit in your grief and the waves and listen to music, and that's what you've been able to do for so many people.
Thank you.
So anyways, I love you. I'm so obsessed with you.
I love you.
I'm done. My part is done. We're gonna open it up. We're gonna open it up to the audience. I think we have a little bit of time to do some audience questions, and I don't have a mic for you, but it's a pretty small room, so we'll project. I mean, if you want, I don't love picking because I don't like rejection, but. I'll do it for you. Okay. You right here? Yeah. I have a fun question. Based on the album title, what are your top 3 favorite features?
Ooh, that's sick.
Question.
I love that.
You should be up here.
I love that. Wow. I really love Singer Island in Florida. That's it. Lake Worth Beach in Florida. I'm trying to think. I think all of them are in Florida. And most of the beaches I've been to. I went to Laguna Beach the other day for the first time, and that changed my life. I was not expecting the water to be so strong. Like, I felt like Florida water doesn't feel that intense, or maybe it's the times that I go. But I got on the water and I was like, I am being moved. Fast.
It's sharp.
It's super sharp, but I saw 4 seals, so I'm gonna add Laguna to that.
Anyone else have any questions? You right behind. Yes.
What was your favorite song to write on the album?
My favorite song to write on the album, I think something really, like, I remember it super, super vividly when I wrote Please Be Rude. That was a song that it was the first song I fully self-produced on my own, and so I think it was the same night that I wrote it. I ended up recording it, and adding those harmonies really drove the melody, and so I count that as still writing the song. And it was the first time I remember I played it back after I was recording some things. I was so confused. I'm like, does this sound good? It's like, what's going on? I just started getting into recording and producing. I was really blown away by that. And I texted my friends and they're like, wait, Gigi, what is going on? So I think it's that kind of, that night sticks out to me, dancing in my room and being like, I think I'm onto something. Ooh, Sugar Water for sure. That one was like, I had written that one last year. I'd written the verses of it last year. And then I'd made a video to it before, but it didn't really lock in until 2 days before I turned in my album. It's great. I think something that I really struggled with at the beginning of this year is that although there's some sort of structure to, you know what you're doing, you don't really know, things kind of happen differently every time. You don't have the same thing, like you don't have the same environment every time, which it sounds redundant because of course you're going to a different place every day. But I think there was something that I really, it was hard to find or be grounded when every room I walk into, I've never walked into before, I'm gonna leave. And there was something about that aspect of things that made it hard to rest or feel emotionally regulated, that there was no familiarity. And then the best thing, and this is, where I'm at now, is just that time that I'm there with you guys. And I think it's just it's so fun how different a set can go each night. And so it's like a kinder surprise. You don't really know what you're gonna get, even though it's like same structure and songs. The way songs feel can change, and that's what I love about the creativity of live, is different ways to express and to sing. Because I feel like for me, there's just like little things, there's little adaptations that I make to certain melodies or ways that I sing things throughout, that it continues to stay really fun, and I get to see the way that we're all feeling that in that moment. So definitely just like every day, different live. Ooh, favorite live moment. That's a good one. I think when I was doing Oshiaga, this is one that just popped in my head right now. I just finished my set, and it was a giant stage, but it was a double stage. So there was like an audience that could see everything, but the stages were kind of blocked off. But it was the same crowd. And 15 minutes before, someone on my team was like, Marina's playing right there, right after you. So it's like I'm done at 15, and then she's on. And something about that was so exciting because I got to say, "Are y'all ready to see Marina?" And like, I got to say, I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like, in what world did I ever think I would get to intro Marina? Like, that's so crazy. I like really like I gave it my entire chest. I kind of said that like super quietly. I didn't really feel like screaming right now, but that I just imagine it. That's how it was. That was really special.
I think we can have time for a couple more. You in the back. Yeah, you. Sorry, I can't see your face.
Was there any other songs that didn't make it onto the album? And if there is, would you ever produce something else?
Yeah. I think, there was a lot of songs that I was writing during that period of time. There's one that sticks out to me called Message, and it's a song that kind of it took on this nautical theme, which is so interesting because when I look back at the making of the album as a whole, when we were talking about how I didn't see it all come together with the drawings. It was the same thing for the themes. Like I had no idea when I wrote At the Beach in Every Life that I would kind of slowly creep into this nautical theme, and maybe it was just the influence, feeling super pulled being back home in Florida. But every now and then, in between like 20 songs, would be a song I really loved and had something to do with the water. And I think after probably the fourth one, I was like, wait, something. I'm like, God is talking to me. Like, what's going on? And things started to click. And Message was one of them that, had to deal with this concept of having these dreams that there's somebody communicating to you on the other side of the world through messages in bottles throughout the sea. That one I really love. And yeah, I think I definitely, I'm still looking at it.
I'm so sorry, you guys, but we have to move on to the next chapter of the evening. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for your amazing, thoughtful questions.
Thank you.
Really amazing questions. So you have a music video coming out tomorrow, and
yes,
you have like a surprise for us, right?
Yes, I do. I actually have the music video here for you to see for At the Beach in Every Life.
I love being a fangirl. This is so fun. So we have to leave the stage. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the amazing, thoughtful questions. Thank you, Gigi, so much for your beautiful, vulnerable answers. We're going to watch this beautiful music video, and then we'll have a performance later. Okay, we're leaving the stage. Goodbye.